Hi, my name is Olachi.
Hi, my name's Joanna.
Hi, my name's Andrew.
Okay, I want to know what was a consequence that you guys found yourself like constantly trying to prevent while bringing up your child.
Go ahead, John.
Okay. Um, Basically, a consequence is that so I was really strict, not really strict, but I made sure that my child could confide in me. Growing up, I couldn't confide in my parents and I couldn't tell them anything. I still can because they will like criticize my actions or tell me I'm always in the wrong. So I didn't want that for my child. So I would always make sure he can confide in me. And, when I was doing the projects and using the software growing up, he'd always tell me everything. He would like eventually, like if he did something wrong, he would tell me. And that's something that I really try working on. And I guess that's why I was kind of more like lenient and try to be very understanding. But I really wanted him to like be able to talk to me.
Mm.
You said what was the consequence or what?
Yeah, what was a consequence you constantly found yourself like
Oh.
trying to avoid basically? Why?
Mine was just her being shy. I kind of wanted her to be more outgoing, but at the same time, it was kind of hard for me. In the program, they wanted you to do like exercise and going out and doing sports, but I felt like she didn't really need to do that because she was already going out with me all the time.
Mhm.
So I ended up putting her with a bunch of like science stuff, and I kept pushing her like, "Come on, go meet your friends. I'll bring your friends over. You can do that." But she didn't want to do that after a while. So then I was just like, "Okay, well, you do your own thing, and you can end up being shy or not shy as long as you're smart. That's all
Yeah.
like matters to me."
Mhm.
Okay, and you, Olachi?
For me, it's kind of a mix between both of yours. Like my child was very shy at the beginning, so I always like wanted to try and like I tried to prevent that a lot, and eventually it worked out in the long run. And then as well as I wanted her to confide in me as well. So, but I also wanted to like try to avoid her being disrespectful because some kids like if you're like just really really lenient like they just act like they can say whatever you want. So yeah, I tried to also avoid that.
Joanna, you have a question?
I do have a question. I want to know what type of parent you guys were. Um, how we did the activity. Uh, Any of you can start.
Okay.
I'll start.
Okay.
So we can go in like a circle. So as a parent, it ended up saying I was an authoritative parent, which is more of like a hard on rules, but also kind of lenient, more warm, even though they have hard on rules. So
Mhm.
I ended up being like that, and I guess that's okay because my family, my mother was the same way. I felt like I ended up being the same way, and I kind of just like would tell Elena, you do your own thing, and if you learn your consequences from that, then you learn your consequences from that. But I have my rules, you follow it. Other than that, you could do your own life.
Mhm. I tried to be an authoritative parent, but it said that I was like kind of a mix, but like on the main side of being an authoritarian, like the one that's like really really strict, like not like so at like towards the middle it said I was really really strict, but then like after it said I was like on the other side of
You were
it,
more
like
lenient when they're like older, huh?
yeah, so it
What
was
about you,
just
Jordan?
Okay. So I was also an old the one you said, Andrew.
yeah.
I was basically one of those parents. I didn't want to be too strict because I grew up with strict parents and I didn't like it. But I mean, I felt like sometimes I was way too lenient. So I try to stay around that area, but sometimes I would let my child pass with a
Yeah.
lot of crazy things. My child was a wild child.
Yeah, I know. From the examples you gave us, yeah, your kid was crazy.
Oh yeah, let me tell you guys a couple. Well, he smoked weed. My child would do weed. Your child too?
Wait, was yours a girl or a boy?
No, mine was a boy.
Okay, mine was
And then he got a girl.
yeah.
And then he got smacking tattoos with his girlfriend or something like that. So
Oh my
That
god.
was wild. Let me ask my question. What part of your culture did you avoid the most and why? Like from your culture, you said, nope, I'm not gonna do this at all.
Yeah, this also has to do with the confining part. I tried to make sure that they could confide in me, and like I just didn't want us to have like I wanted us to have a better bond, because like for us in my culture, like of saying that parents usually say is like, oh, like I'm not your friend, like they'll be like I'm not your mate basically, so you can't just talk to me anyhow. And then like growing up, like any little thing you want to talk to them about, it's just like you won't feel comfortable talking to them about it. So eventually, like now that I'm older, my mom's more lenient with me, but I don't want to really talk to her about it because it's already ingrained in my brain that I can't talk to her about that. So I tried to like at a younger age like avoid that and like make sure she knows that she can be comfortable with me and stuff.
Mhm.
Okay, for me, it's kind of the same thing, you know. I did go through that. A lot of parents, they're like, yeah, I'm only here to parent you.
Yeah.
So I try to avoid that too. But another part of my culture is religion. You know, me being Catholic, like my parents raised me that way, and from the age of 5, I've been going to Catholic school.
Mhm.
So I tried not to force that onto my child, and I explained to him my beliefs, but I let him do whatever he wants. I let him like choose his religion, and at the end, I would let him go with his friends to like other churches.
Mhm.
Um, so yeah, I just didn't want to force any religion because like I saw my sister, a religion was forced onto her, and now she
Rebe-
literally says she's atheist, and I don't want that. Like I want my child to explore his
Mhm.
Mhm. With me, my culture was the whole male-centered part of Hispanic cultures that I wanted to avoid. With my Elena, I didn't want her to be expected to, not have a say in things and kind of have to follow what the adults are saying. Kind of like me being the dad, I don't want them to be like, oh, you have to follow what I'm saying because I'm a guy. There's a lot
Yeah.
of like the machismo culture is very irritating. How men basically act like big babies. They're like, I want to be fed. I don't want to move. You have to feed me. Like I don't like that. So with Elena, I tried as much as I could to kind of like let her make her own decisions, go out in life, and have the freedom to make her own path instead of having to follow mine. Like with religion, like how Joanna said, I just let her pick whatever she wanted.
Yeah. Okay. My next question is what was like your most enjoyable experience like while bringing up your child in periantal years? So like when they were like a toddler and stuff.
Okay, I'll go first. Okay, so my child had a lot of learning disabilities. He was dyslexic, and it was really hard for him to read. I think he was like in the 3rd grade, and he still couldn't read fluently
Mm.
at all. And he was making sentences, but just he couldn't read or write. And as a parent, that is difficult. My mom went through that, so I mean, I saw her cry many times because I couldn't form any sentence at like 2nd grade. So, um, yeah, I would like kind of worry. So I like kind of would help my child, and I
Mm.
remember I would encourage him to go to tutoring, and at the end, he was doing great. I think around his high school year, he was like average for reading and writing, and that's what I was most proud of because I mean, learning like I learned 2 languages, and it was so hard for me to like learn everything from for both. Sometimes I don't even know what I'm speaking. Sometimes I speak both languages in one sentence. So that's what I was really proud of my child for like continuing to like go to tutoring and like wanting to improve his reading and writing his stuff.
That's cool.
My happiest moment with my kid was when she was younger. She wanted to like talk a lot. So I used to take her out to the park or to the zoo, and we would have like little conversations about like, oh, what animal was that? Or what did you see? What did you like? And later on, she ended up wanting to read books, and I read her bedtime stories all the time. And then eventually, at one point, she wanted to learn how to read so that she can start reading the bedtime stories to me. Like she would sit down, she says, I want to read the book. And it was more of like memorization at that time. But then later on, she started understanding the book and understanding words for her to be able to read it. So I feel like that was my biggest accomplishment, where it's like all my work that I put in for her to be able to read, she was like learned it on her own. She didn't even need me to like tell her to do it. She kind of just wanted to learn. And it ended up like contributing later on in her life too. And it helped her out in like high school and stuff.
Mhm. Okay. Well, for me, it was also kind of like that. I enjoyed reading more with my child. Like she was really into reading from the very start. And then after that, like it would be fun because we would bring it into real life experiences and like go out to like what he said, museums and stuff. And like say we were reading like a science book, we would go to like a science type of thing and read like do the real life experience version of it. So yeah, it was cool.
Let me jump in real quick because we're running out of time. If you had one thing to say to your kid right now, if they're right in front of you, what would you say? You can start, Joanna.
Okay. First of all, I would say that mommy is proud of you. And that like you can always come to me, and even if you're growing up, I'm still here to support you. And yes, you were a difficult child, the things you did. But you know, I still love you and I'll still protect you, and I'm here. I'll always be here.
You,
Okay,
Alechi?
anybody else?
Same as me, I would say like I'm really proud of you and where you came, like how far you've come. Because she struggled with like not necessarily struggled, but like she was always too hard on herself. Even if she was doing really well, she would still feel like, oh, she's doing bad if she got like a B or something. You know what I mean? So I would just tell her like no matter what, just keep pushing, but also like self-care, you feel me? And that I'm always here for you and I'm proud of you. Yeah.
Mine would be I'd be like, look, Elena, you've done great. You've done a lot of stuff. You got into a good school. You're still with that boyfriend of yours. So let's keep it, PG-13 with them.
Yeah.
And I would tell her, don't be afraid to try things. You're always shy when you were younger. You never wanted to try things, but now that you're older, sometimes there's like no consequence with it. Try stuff, go out, be adventurous. Like I said earlier, smoke weed if you want to smoke weed. Like your fellow peers kids did it, why don't you do it? But nah,
Yeah.
like just experience life, live it, and I'm proud of you. All
Yeah.
right then. All right, bye guys.
All right, bye.